Welcome to Spirit Club, a podcast and community where we talk about what's really running the show, your inner world. I'm Angel, your host, your guide, and your spiritual bestie. Around here, we're all about doing the inner work because your outer reality is only ever a reflection of what's going on within. We practice radical ownership, freedom in faith, surrendering our path to God, and trusting our intuition like our lives depend on it. Because honestly, they do. So take a breath, open your heart, and let's dive in. Hi, Spirit Club. Happy New Year. Kelly Chronia. I don't know how late into January we're allowed to say Happy New Year, but it feels like here in Greece we can carry this on a little bit longer. For example, Christmas decorations, Christmas music, all that sort of thing was still happening. I was just in northern Greece, was still happening up until like the other day. So we're just carrying on. I personally feel like I've been in a fog. I could be still in December for all I know. I've been hosting for 3+ weeks. My parents have been visiting. And we went up north to northern Greece for about 9 days. So I just got back yesterday. So that is why we have not had an episode yet for Spirit Club, but here we are. And today I'm going to talk about why you might not like holiday season. Why holiday season is a lot for you to recover from, and what the lessons God wants us to integrate are. So if you are like still recovering from your holidays, or it wasn't a great time for you, this is for you. So of course that there are parts of the holidays that you do enjoy. I know, me too. I love the vibe, I love the music, I love the lights, I love the cookies. And I do love some slow, quiet, present time with family. Some. But also extended holiday time, really hard on me. And in speaking with some of my clients and friends and this community, I know that it can be hard on you guys too, and that when it comes time to return, you feel like really excited to return to life. So let's talk about it. So I've talked a lot with God about this over the past few weeks. And so I'm going to share with you my findings and hope that it helps all of us to grow, because that's what we're here to do. So why is holiday time so hard? And in fact, maybe for some of you feels like it only gets harder every year. So I've got 3 main reasons and 3 main lessons. Okay, so first reason why holiday time can be hard is because you have designed, curated, created a life that is in alignment for you, but doesn't so much align with mainstream, or doesn't so much align with old traditions, things like that, things that you grew up around. So it's this misalignment that doesn't feel so good. And when you have extended holiday time, then you're spending extended time in this sort of like place where you don't really fit. So in some ways, it might feel like you're going backwards. You might feel like you're going backwards to old healing that you feel like you've already done, old wounds that you haven't seen in a while, old ways of being that you just like, even just like simple things like eating or sleeping or dressing that you just aren't anymore. And I don't know that feeling that going backwards is a feeling that many of us enjoy. And also holiday season might also feel like It feels like you're doing something that you only have the capacity to do for like this much, but then you're doing it for this much. So like, I don't know, say you're not a runner and you're like, oh, okay, but like I can run 5K, anybody can run 5K. And then you end up having to run like an ultra marathon. So that's kind of what this feels like with this like being in misalignment. And so here we are, we're in holiday mood, we're around different groups of people. It's going to be different for each of us. And we are feeling out of alignment. And so what comes up? Judgment. Judgment tends to come up. Judgment might surface in you judging others. Judgment might surface in others judging you as well, but for sure in you judging others. And so there's a lesson here for us because judging ain't it, you know? Like, yes, you have done the work and you've created life that feels good, and then you go spend some time with, maybe people you grew up around or whatever it is, and you see that they're suffering, you see that they're in pain, you see that they're unhappy, and there's a part of you that's like, oh, I know the answer. I know I was there and now I'm here and I feel great. I know the answer. Why won't you listen? Why won't you change? Why won't you do these things? And then judgment comes up because you're looking at someone who's suffering in some way. You feel like you know the answer, you might know the answer, and they're not doing it or listening or whatever that happens to be. Maybe they're stuck in victim mode, whatever it is. And so then judgment comes up. And this ain't it. You know it. I know it. Just because you've gotten yourself into a better place, or better, feels better for you, doesn't mean that we can create separation between us and others. What we want is love. We want to love each other exactly where we're at. So this one's really hard. I know it's hard. I've done a lot of thinking about it, work on it, chatting about it, talking to God about it. And the biggest thing I have to share, well, two things. One is, can we accept someone exactly as they are, where they are? Can we? Theoretically, yes, we can. It's hard. So that would be my first thing to try is, okay, this person isn't going to necessarily change. They're not going to do the things that I think are right for them or whatever it is. And listen, we could be wrong about that. Can I accept them exactly as they are? And another thing to try, you know what dissolves judgment so quickly? What dissolves judgment? Love. Love dissolves judgment. And you're like, yes, duh. But how do I like quickly get into a state of love? Honesty, an honest conversation. Am I right? Because judgment, a lot of judgment is happening beneath the surface and it's all like building, but nothing is actually being said. And when an honest conversation happens, it just sort of like dissolves all that judgment away. You don't even need to be honest about the judgment. You know what I mean? You just need to be honest about the root of what is going on. So it's really more like an honest conversation that comes from the heart, that comes from the root. So what does that look like? What does that mean? I don't know. Like, let's say it's the way someone's eating and you think that the way they're eating is causing them suffering and it's making you frustrated, and you eat in a different way that works a lot better and you think it's really well researched this way, whatever it is. So an honest conversation could be like, I see that you're suffering. I'm afraid that you're only going to get sicker, and I love you and I want you to feel good. This is an honest conversation. This is a conversation that's coming from the heart. And it's not about like blaming and pointing fingers and telling someone about all the reasons you judge them. It's really just getting to the heart of the reason of why it's triggering you. And a lot of the reason often is because we want more connection. We want more love. To we want someone to feel good. So yeah, so you could try that. If judgment's really coming up, honesty, honest conversations. And listen, not all of us are good at having honest conversations. I am not. They're really hard for me. And so an exercise that I tried over the holidays was I journaled an honest conversation. It's like having one, but not. It's like practicing one. So you could try that. Try journaling an honest conversation, and you might even try to sort of like channel the highest self of whoever you're having the honest conversation with, or you just speak in journaling. But you'll be surprised that it still has that effect of dissolving judgment. Okay, so to recap, one of the reasons why the holiday season does not feel great is because you've curated a life that no longer aligns with old traditions, old ways of doing things, the mainstream. And the big lesson for us to take from this is around judgment and how we can dissolve judgment. It's not about being in a state of judgment. And I know you don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. Okay, the second reason why holiday season is not your favorite time, why it doesn't feel good, is because, oh, this one was a hard one to swallow from God, but because a lot of our peace comes from being able to control our circumstances. When I heard this one, I was like, when I chatted to God about this one, I was like, oh. So, if you can answer the question or finish the sentence, I have peace when, and you've got this like little laundry list of things. I have peace when I'm eating clean. I have peace when I'm not drinking. I have peace when I'm getting lots of sleep. I have peace when I'm working out. I have peace when I have time to talk to God, all these sorts of things. If your peace is on the other side of all those things, then, well, it's not really peace, is it? Not truly. So this was really interesting and new information to me. But I came to understand that there are like stages to inner peace. Okay, so stage one is really when you commit to a life, making changes in your life that give you peace. Okay, so maybe it's like you've quit a stressful job, you start being in toxic relationships, you've all those sorts of things that allow you to have peace. That's only stage one. Can you believe it? I thought that was the end stage. It is not, turns out. So stage one is really like, okay, I'm committed to peace. I'm committed to creating peace, and I will do what it takes to create peace. Okay, so stage one is almost like a little black and white. It's like when I have my routines in place, when I have certain habits, certain ways of eating, ways of living, ways of being, certain space, then I have peace, kind of black and white. So I was getting the feeling that there are more stages. So stage two is really when we start to smudge the boundaries between like when I have peace and when I don't have peace. It becomes a little bit more like I've fostered and I've strengthened that peace that I create through these habits, through this way of living. I have strengthened it so that I can go out into the world and bring that peace with me. Even when I go out into the world and that world no longer has those pieces that bring me peace. You know what I mean? But I still advocate for myself so that I can still have certain practices in place that give me peace. So stage two is really like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's starting to blur the boundaries between like life that gives me peace and life that doesn't. And then finally, the end goal, stage three, we're going to call it, of peace is really when you have strengthened that peace so much inside you that the practices are not needed, there's nothing in the external that is needed. You bring that peace out into the world, you pour it out into the world, and the world pours back into you. So there's like kind of a natural dance that happens with your inner peace. I don't actually know anyone. When I tried to sit with it, I was like, can I think of anyone who demonstrates stage 3 peace? I can't think of anyone. If you do, let me know. I'm sure there are folks who have ascended to this level. But I would imagine most of you in this group are at stage 1, meaning you've curated your life, you have found the practices that bring you peace, and you've committed to them. You've taken the courage that it takes to commit to them. And some of you are probably still stage 0, where, sorry, 0, that sounds so like I'm at the bottom, but it just means you've still got lots of things in your life that are out of alignment, that don't bring you peace, but that you're still regularly engaging in. And you haven't yet taken the step to like be cutthroat about it, but you're working on it. So I'm going to speak to those of you who are in stage 1 and you're wanting to move into stage 2, where like I build my inner peace so strong that I can go into these scenarios that are not maybe in alignment, that are going to disrupt my peace, but I bring my peace into them. So the sort of tips that I got on how we can work on this, because this is really a piece of what the holidays were here to teach us. So how do we work on this? First thing is making sure, now that you're out of holiday mode, to build your inner reserves of peace back up. You know how to do that. I don't need to tell you how to do that. But it would really help if you really get a strong sense of awareness of what your inner peace feels like. So really just make sure that's really familiar so that you can call on it like this, so that you can connect to it like this. So it might help for the clairvoyants in the group to have a visual that goes with that. Maybe it's a color, maybe it's a symbol within you that shows that you connect to, that helps you know that you are at peace, but just something really familiar. So step 1, make sure you get really familiar. And now we are going to start to test ourselves. And how are we going to test ourselves? You're going to periodically say yes to things that aren't in alignment. I said it. I know, no one ever tells you to do something out of alignment, but this is what I was getting, okay? Say yes periodically to things that you know aren't totally in alignment. And you are saying yes consciously because you know you're going to use this, whatever it is, event as an opportunity to practice bringing your inner peace with you. Not just going, depleting it, and having to go back to your practices and fill it back up. No, we're going to bring it, we're going to have it full, and we're going to pour it out. So I don't know, maybe it looks like something like saying yes to this concert where you're going to be around a lot of people and people are drinking or whatever it is. And it's just like something that you would usually easily be like, no, pass. You're going to go and you're going to practice and you're going to report back. Okay. So that's one way we're going to test it. The other way is committing to a certain amount of spontaneity in life. So I know for some of you, spontaneity is way easier than others. For those of us who are very earthy, very disciplined, spontaneity, not so easy. So, for me, maybe I'm going to say like, okay, once a month, I'm going to be spontaneous. Once a month, I'm going to say yes when I'm like, no, wait, I didn't plan that, whatever it is. So being spontaneous is another way of bringing our peace with us, unplanned, just going, bringing our peace with us and practicing, bringing that peace, holding that peace, and pouring it into wherever we happen to be spontaneous. Okay, so that was the lesson that came out of the fact that a lot of us, the holidays are so hard because we maintain our peace by controlling our circumstances. But the end game is that our peace comes with us wherever we go. All right. The last reason that came up for why the holidays are a tough time for this community, for a majority of this community, and that is because at heart, most of us are people pleasers. Still, like, I know that you have all worked really hard on this and you've been removing layers of your people-pleasing nature, as have I. But I also know that you're all very clairsentient, meaning you very easily feel into what others are feeling. And when you're on holidays, you're feeling what's going on around you, and you are going to respond to any pain, suffering, needs that you're picking up. And often you're going to respond in a way of accommodating those needs. And eventually, when you're in a weakened state, which over an extended period of time, out of your routines, out of your peace, out of your alignment, you start to fall back on your old default, which is people pleasing, which is abandoning self to meet the needs of others. Same here. Yes, definitely. So, not surprisingly, the lesson from this is that we need to meet our needs first, that we need to fill our cups first. And this is going to look different for all of us because we're all sort of people pleasing in different ways. We all have different layers that are prominent, and you'll know which one yours is based on what came up over holiday season. You'll know, like, where is it that I've got some work to do around people pleasing. But I just really want to underline how important it is for all of us collectively to work on this wound. It's been coming up so much. It is so loud that I know that for those who are here who want to step into their calling, for those who are here who want their meant for more life, this needs to be addressed. You must fill your cup. You must. You will not be able to respond to your calling until you do. You must fill your cup, and that is going to require you to put your needs first. And so you'll need to do whatever work it is around people pleasing in order to do that. Don't worry, there's a whole episode I've done on it. Check that one out. But yeah, this one really, like, there are so many layers. I've been working on this for a long time, and there's a new layer every couple of months. So, but it's okay. Things can be cyclic. Things can be layered. That doesn't mean that the work isn't being done. You know what I mean? But underline, important, important, important. You must put your needs first. You must fill your cup. Okay, that's it. So let's get back to it, shall we? The fog is lifting, the lessons are integrating, energy is coming back to us. We've got some stuff to do this year, and I mean that in a really exciting way. I know that many of us, as I said in my last episode, are stepping into our callings in a bigger way, and we're here to do it together. So let's integrate these lessons and let's move on. And if you like this episode, I would so love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel here, or if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, if you pass this episode along to a friend who you know may have also struggled a bit over the holidays. We're in this together. Love you all. Happy New Year.